Bom dia! Welcome back. Today I want to talk about my last 6 years. Why 6 years? Well, it was 6 years ago this month, in the year 2019, that I had a stroke. I was in San Francisco in my big 4-bedroom Victorian 19th century Victorian flat in San Francisco's Mission District, and I was running an Airbnb out of it. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of stress, and I had some issues besides the hard work and the stress. By that time, February 2019, I had very much cut back on my drinking, alcohol consumption. I still drank, but not nearly as much as I had a few years earlier. But I still was consuming alcohol. My diet was bad. I was overweight, eating a lot of junk, not eating in a healthy way at all. I was not getting any kind of real decent exercise other than, the physical effort that it took running that Airbnb where I had 3 guest rooms. I was not in a healthy place. And so one late afternoon, after I had finished a whole day's work of cleaning up the Airbnb, making it spotless for a new set of guests, I sat down at the computer and I was, I think I was reading the news or something on the computer, on the internet, and I started feeling a little funny. And to make a long story short, I had a stroke. I started feeling very, very exhausted. And I wasn't able to stand up or walk, which, if I had been in a rational state of mind, I would have realized that there was an emergency happening, but I just thought I was totally exhausted. And I remember trying to get off the chair at my desk and falling to my knees. And then I started crawling. I thought I wanted to go to bed, and I had a loft bed. So I had, in my room, I had a second level, and you had to go upstairs to get to it. And so I started crawling to the stairs to take me up to my loft to lie down, and I lurched forward and hit my head against a big bookcase and cut my head open right here, blood trickling down. I didn't even realize it, though, at the time. Managed to crawl up the stairs to my bed. Not something you should ever do when you're having a stroke, by the way, which is go to bed and go to sleep. But I had no idea. I wasn't thinking properly. I just thought I was exhausted. I mean, I should have known. I wasn't able to walk. But, I was having a stroke, a brain hemorrhage. So I managed to get up into my loft bed, and I laid down, I believe, for about 2 hours. Now, when you have a stroke, you have I believe it's a 3.5 hour window to get to the hospital where they can take measures to reverse some of the effects, break up the stroke, the brain hemorrhage, get the blood flowing in that area of the brain that has been affected. Well, I laid down for 2 hours. Unfortunately, I didn't fall asleep, but when I did get up again, about 2.5 hours had passed. I managed to crawl back down those stairs and into the hallway. Crawling, I wasn't able to walk. managed to crawl into the bathroom, go pee, and then crawl into one of the guest rooms and get it lie on top of the bed. And then at least I had the wherewithal to call my best friend who lived upstairs. He was the owner of the Victorian that I lived in. And I said, I'm having a problem, but I'm okay. I don't know what was going on in my head. I was like afraid. I didn't have any health insurance. I was terrified of going to the hospital and getting slapped with a huge medical bill. Thank you, the United States, and your lack of public health care system. And I was very ignorant about my options. I lived in San Francisco, where there is a very good public healthcare option, but I wasn't aware of it. Anyway, my friend thought I was drunk. My speech was slurry. I was talking in a strange way. Thank God that he was home. He came right downstairs, let me speak for another couple of minutes. He knew right away what was happening, and he called 911, called an ambulance, and the ambulance came, and the consensus was that I had had a stroke. They took me to the hospital in an ambulance, first time I'd ever been in an ambulance, and I was in the hospital, I believe, for a total of 5 days. So that was my stroke experience. Fortunately, there were no major repercussions. I was not paralyzed. I was a little shaky on my feet. When I typed on the computer, I made more mistakes. My fingers were awkward. I made more spelling and grammatical mistakes than I normally would have. But surprisingly, I was back to normal pretty quickly. I do remember though that my eyesight was affected, and one eye moved very much to the left. When I was a child, I had a wandering eye, a weak eye, and I had an eye operation when I was about 12 to tighten the eye, but the stroke reverted my eye back to the way it was when I was a child, and so for a long time my eye was off to the side. That finally corrected itself. My eyesight is not quite as good as it was pre-stroke. I read fine. I'm a big reader, as you can see all the books behind me, but I can't read for a long period of time. I definitely need to get some reading glasses, which I've never used before. But basically, I'm fine. And it's now been 6 years since the stroke. So I want to talk about what has changed, what I have changed in my life since that stroke 6 years ago this month. Well, the first thing I want to mention is that I've completely limited alcohol from my life. I don't touch it. Well, except for once or twice a year, I'll have a few sips. I think you may have seen me in a previous YouTube video where I've taken a few sips of a caipirinha here in Brazil. I will drink a couple of sips of a caipirinha, but normally in my day-to-day life, with the exception of that 1 or 2 times, absolutely no alcohol. Because I do think that alcohol contributed to my stroke. I had been a heavy drinker when I lived in Brazil, prior to moving back to San Francisco and starting at Airbnb. So I don't drink anymore. That's the first big change. Second big change, that started the day I got back from the hospital 6 years ago. The second big change I made when I got back from the hospital 6 years ago was that I became a vegetarian. Very, very happy about that. Very, very pleased on so many levels. I should have become a vegetarian decades ago. I actually was a vegetarian for a year when I was about 18. I worked in a health food store, a health food restaurant. And I was a vegetarian, but I slipped and stopped. And anyway, 6 years ago, right after the stroke, I became a vegetarian. I am a vegetarian now and will be for the rest of my life. I believe it's much better for my health, and it is certainly much better for the environment, for the planetary health, and of course, I'm very strongly against industrial slaughter of animals. For all of those reasons, I am a vegetarian now. And a third big change in my life has been huge weight loss. Now, I had started losing weight, some weight before I had the stroke, but after the stroke, when I completely eliminated alcohol, that was a big contributor of weight loss. Just to give you an idea, I was at my maximum about 222 was my highest weight. I am now at 156. So that's over 60 pounds in 6 years. Eliminating alcohol helped a lot. Becoming a vegetarian and eliminating meat contributed enormously. Plant-based diet, eliminating fats coming from meat, hamburgers, unhealthy food like fried foods, etc. So eliminating alcohol, becoming a vegetarian, and another thing that happened to me last year was I was diagnosed with diabetes. I believe because of excess sugar intake. One thing that I did not eliminate was sodas. I did drink a lot of sugary sodas up until about a year ago because I'm living here in the tropics. It's very hot. I felt like I needed to constantly be drinking something to rehydrate myself. Well, you know, sodas do not rehydrate you. It's absolutely the worst thing you could drink. But when I was diagnosed with diabetes, I instantly eliminated sugary sodas, and that continued to contribute enormously to the weight loss and vastly improved my diabetes. And finally, Ozempic. Yes, I take Ozempic. I didn't start taking it because of weight loss. I started to take it because the doctor prescribed it for me. It's a diabetes drug after all. But, as you probably know, lots of people are taking Ozempic for weight loss. And as a beneficial side effect, I lost a lot of weight also because of Ozempic. I had already gone from my high of 222 pounds to about 172 pounds. So just becoming a vegetarian, just eliminating sodas, and walking a lot were the main contributors to the weight loss. But Ozempic brought me down from 172 to where I am now, about 156. So all of those factors, the Ozempic, becoming a vegetarian, eliminating sodas, a lot of walking. I was always a big walker ever since I was a teenager, ever since I was a child. But it's very much part of my daily routine now. All of those contributed to this massive weight loss, and my diabetes is under control. When I take my blood sugar count, it's now in the normal level. And I love being a vegetarian. I don't mean to be self-righteous, but I really feel much, much better physically and psychically and morally by not consuming animals and not contributing to global warming and factory farming and factory slaughter, wholesale slaughter of animals. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox about that. But all of these changes have happened since I've had the stroke over the past 6 years, and I just wanted to share them with you. You don't have to adapt any of them. Maybe adapt a few of them and tailor your experience to your own needs and likes. But I just want you to know that it is possible. I'm 70 years old. At my current weight, 156, I weigh and look like I did in my early 20s or my late teens even. I mean, it's incredible how much my body has changed, how much my energy level has improved. I can wear clothes now that I hadn't been able to wear for decades. I wear an M size now, medium. No more large or extra large sizes for me. I feel great, I look great, and I just wanted to share that. Well, I don't like the word journey, it's overused, but can I use it right now? Can I share that journey of the last 6 years since I had that stroke and also was diagnosed with diabetes? All of those changes that I've mentioned have radically changed and improved the quality of my life. I'm 70. I'm looking forward to the next, hopefully 20 or even 30 years of being healthy, of continuing to be a vegetarian, of being besides being a vegetarian, eliminating a lot of junk food from my life, sodas, processed foods, walking as my main source of exercise, and I mean walking 2 to 3 hours a day. You see a lot more of the world by doing that. Get out of your cars, use public transportation. And Ozempic, I'm not suggesting everybody run out and get Ozempic. It's actually, depending where you live, it can be both expensive and difficult to get. Fortunately, here in Brazil, I'm able to get it. No shortages. And here in Brazil, I only pay $200 a month as compared to over $1,000 a month in the United States. Another one of my advantages of living in Brazil. So I just wanted to share those changes I've made. Starting 6 years ago, from 2019 to where we are now, February 2025, that's 6 years. I look forward to getting even healthier in the next 6 years and beyond. And continuing my life abroad, outside the United States, here in Brazil, and who knows where I'll go next. I have no immediate intentions of leaving Brazil, but you know, the world is an exciting place, and I am tempted by other parts of the world, so I hope you join me wherever I end up, or wherever I go. Thanks for joining me today. See you next time. Beijos. Ciao.